My name's Ian, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about comets. I've always had a fascination and an interest in comets, and astronomers are still finding all kinds of things, all kinds of new discoveries about comets. Okay, these giant objects are out there in our universe, and they're icy bodies that release these gases and dust, and they've often been referred to as dirty snowballs. However, these snowballs are 10 miles in diameter, some of them. They're just massive. Um, and they're conglomerations of methane, ammonia, um, carbon dioxide, dust, ice, and all kinds of other elements. They've got a solid nucleus or core, and they consist mostly of ice and dust, and they're coated with like a crust of dark organic matter. Um, One thing I find very interesting is that some researchers actually believe that comets may have brought some of the water and organic molecules to Earth that now make up life here. Um, they could be an essential building block for planets, and could have been a building block for our own planet, which I think is extremely interesting. Most astronomers believe that comets are basically leftovers from the gas and the dust and the ice and the rocks that formed our solar system 4.6 billion years ago. A recent experiment lays out the possibility that amino acids, which form the foundation of life on Earth, may have first been synthesized in comets, and the collisions with the Earth is how they got here. So you can just imagine all of these comets out there colliding and leaving elements behind, which could have been building blocks for life that started here and evolved here on Earth. Um, Now, the orbits of comets sometimes end in a collision with a planet or a moon. Many of the surface craters on planets and moons in our solar system have been made by such impacts. And it's pretty amazing to think about that life on Earth may have come from these celestial bodies. We may, in fact, all be aliens. Comets are usually classified into short period and long period comets. So all comets, they orbit the sun, but most long period comets are believed to inhabit an area known as the Oort cloud. And the Oort cloud is this conglomeration of celestial bodies, and it's out past the orbit of Pluto. So it's way out there. And there could be up to 1 trillion comets, trillion of these icy snowballs in the Oort cloud. Short period comets, now they originate in the Kuiper belt, and that lies beyond the orbit of Neptune, and it's kind of another big belt, big conglomeration of all these celestial bodies, and could have millions of comets, and it's just so interesting. And the Kuiper belt lies beyond the orbit of Neptune. Now, occasionally, a comet streaks through the inner solar system, close enough for us to view without a telescope. And as they get closer to the sun, they become smaller because they're melting, and the ice and the dust and debris is pouring off them in these huge tails of debris. Some of these comets pass through regularly, and others only pass through once every few centuries. So if you happen to see one of those, that's a pretty awesome thing, pretty rare thing. Even Halley's Comet, it passes through every 76 years, and we can see it every 76 years or so, which is cool. And I hope I live to see it again, because it came through in 1986 and I was 1 year old. So hopefully I'll get to see it again. I find it so fascinating that these comets are out there in our solar system, and sometimes we get such a rare opportunity just to see one in all its glory. Um, as a comet gets closer to the sun, as I said before, the ice on the surface of the nucleus begins turning into gas, forming a cloud known as the coma. Um, the coma of the comet is kind of, the glow around the solid nucleus. Radiation from the sun pushes dust particles away from the coma, and that's what forms these huge, large dust tails behind the comet. Well, the charged particles from the sun convert some of the comet's gases into ions, forming the ion tail. Since comet tails are uh, shaped by sunlight and the solar wind, comet tails always face away from the sun. So someone tells you, oh, the dust trail coming off the comet, that's the back of the comet. And that's not true. It could be the front of the comet. It just depends on the solar wind. It's really quite an astonishing thing when you think about it. And these tails, these long, they can be millions of miles long, which is just amazing. That these debris trails, these jet streams off of these comets, just roaring through through space, millions of miles long. Now, the tails are what set comets apart from asteroids. However, extinct comets have passed by the sun in our inner solar system, and they've been mistaken for asteroids. Comet tails can be millions of miles long. They're basically just long jet streams of ice, dust, and other debris. And it's just fascinating. Comets have been observed since ancient times and have traditionally been considered bad omens. And you can imagine, these ancient people looking up to the skies and seeing these, these huge roaring balls of, dust and ice with these long tails. I mean, they must have thought the sky was falling. The world as they knew it was going to come to an end. And they've always, all over the world been considered like a bad omen. Something bad's going to happen. This is God, striking upon us. So, yeah, they've been seen for thousands of years. The earliest observers to notice comets in the sky could only learn from looking up, just like a person looks at a picture of a comet in a book. But later, observers began to notice that comets moved from night to night. They'd see them in a different place from one night to the other. So they knew that they had to be moving fast and orbiting. They were orbiting the sun. Using what they knew about math, they were able to begin tracking comet orbits. And as the technologies were developed, scientists could begin observing in a new way to discover the makeup of these icy bodies. Comets may have within them the last pristine clues to the beginning of the formation of the solar system. So I hope you enjoyed learning some more about comets. Hopefully I taught you some new things, and I really appreciate your time. Thanks. Bye.